All right, everybody. Welcome back to the PRPL Podcast. This is your host, Austin Neisert. Hope you're doing all right out there today on this fine Sunday. For us, it is a Friday, and for me, it is also happy hours. So, clinkies, cheers.
Cheers.
Salute.
The sad sacks are back, baby, with a brand new episode of the PRPL Podcast. This time reviewing the 2014 mud-soaked World War II tank drama, Fury, starring Brad Pitt alongside Shia LaBeouf, Logan Lerman, Jon Bernthal, and Michael Peña as our crew. Join us as we discuss our favorite characters, scenes, themes, and things, and answer the eternal question, is this movie better with Nicolas Cage? Welcoming in to the booth, my colleagues, as always, Griffin and Mike Fletcher. How we doing today, fellas? It is Friday. Welcome.
Bet it is. I'm doing well. Ready to rock. I'll tell you, Austin, this one, I've seen it before, but it surprised me on this latest watch. So yeah. I'm really excited to dig in, man.
Mikey?
Definitely a thriller. This is one that's just, as I said last week, we know it's going to be tough to watch, but it's so well done. The cast is fabulous. Logan is incredible, and our guy Brad Pitt just carries this movie from beginning to end. And he was just absolutely outstanding. So
yeah, I think this one does a really good job of, we mentioned the whole war theme in the last episode very briefly. This one by no means glorifies war. It does not romanticize it in any manner whatsoever. It's a pretty, being someone never been in war, it's a pretty gritty and I would imagine true depiction of the horrors that you go through and some of the apathy.
Makes you glad we didn't have to get drafted, right?
Oh, that's for damn sure. This is a fan recommended episode as well, so shout out Jack once again. This one's for you, pal. This movie, one myself, I hadn't seen in quite some time either, but I had seen it a while back, and it's a good one, man. It really is. Brad Pitt, as always, we love seeing that guy on screen, and he's surrounded by a pretty all-star ensemble as well within this thing. I think the team and the crew element of this thing is very much at the forefront, and even in reading of some of the things that they went through, I think the director here, David Ayer, really put these guys through the mud themselves, had them kind of getting some of that cabin fever feeling, having them live in that tank for a bit. I think he even had them shitting in there or something. So really pushed the lines. I think there were times that these guys got in fights on set. I think they mentioned like having black eyes or like actually getting at it. And hell, you could imagine when you get some of that, what is it, Grady Coon-ass Travis, the Bernthal character, that guy, I'd probably fucking light him up too, some of the shit that he was doing, even if it is acting, quote unquote, there. But we'll do our little plot line here. October 14th, 2014 is when this comes out. So about 12 years ago. We're coming up on the anniversary of VE Day. I think that somewhat went into this decision to pick this movie. So May 8th of 1945. We're nearing that's not too long ago when you really think about it though. You haven't passed the century mark. It is a little over, I guess, 80 years, but still it's kind of crazy that this just was going on in recent history to some degree by all means. But this is, here we go. A battle-hardened U.S. Army sergeant and his 5-man tank crew embark on a deadly mission behind enemy lines in the final days of World War II, forcing a young, inexperienced soldier to confront the brutal realities of war and survival. So like we mentioned, it is not a glorification. It is not a romanticization of war by any means. It is dark. It's dirty. From the very beginning, when you see this new cat show up, he's got a clean face off the inside of this fucking tank. Just brutal, and it gets him on all fours throwing up in the thing. But just crazy. Continuing on with our credits, directed and written by David Ayer. This is the guy who did End of Watch, if you've seen that. It's kind of a cop flick with with actually our guy Michael Peña, who's in this thing. So you got to imagine there's some overlap and some reasoning. I think it's also Jake Gyllenhaal in there with him. That is a really, really good movie. Maybe we'll get around to watching that one. Another tough one though, too, in terms of like it just depicts the cop lifestyle. He also wrote Training Day, The Fast and the Furious. So there's kind of our overlap with Point Break right there. People like to say that Fast and Furious is plot or step by step the same plot to Point Break.
Amy said that. She said this is basically the Fast and the Furious, and I was like, interesting.
Exactly. So it's funny that our cat right after this is the one who wrote that as well. Score, we'll get that credit here early as well. Stephen Price. I thought the music in this, it has to be pretty dramatic and kind of fit that feeling. And I think he does a real good job with that. That guy actually won an Oscar for Gravity. He was an editor on Lord of the Rings. Howard Shore was our guy with Lord of the Rings, but this guy helped with that as an editor. Batman Begins, and he also did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is kind of funny. Pretty different movies as well there. Performance and recognition, $68 million to $80 million budget, performs well, $211.8 million at the box office. A pretty forgotten war film, I would say. I think it's somewhat underappreciated. I think some people didn't take to it as much, but it does review pretty well. 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So I mean, it's a solid one. It came at 41st in the year on like worldwide box office. I guess it wasn't one of the biggest ones, but by all means, it's a good movie. It stands the test of time. I really enjoyed going back and seeing it again. I want to send it over. I guess we'll start with you, Griffin. Kind of give us some of the things that you thought about this film, maybe some pros, some cons, and your rating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I started out with, I was impressed. I hadn't seen this movie for a while. I didn't remember it by name. Once I actually got it on TV, I was like, oh, I've seen this, but it had been a long time. I actually enjoyed a lot of it. I think the chemistry between the characters and the actors was pretty high. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And like you said, Austin, I'd kind of cut you off earlier. You're mentioning the apathy that everyone is projecting and just the apathy of everyone's attitude because they're in this horrendous situation. Like you said, I mean, just death everywhere. They're literally in their camp and there are just scores of dead bodies all around, getting wheeled around on trucks. I mean, it's not pretty. And then, of course, when Norman is going to join their crew, they're looking at him like, man, you have no idea what you're getting into. And he's a liability. I mean, we see that a few different times because he just has not been in the shit with them in the way that they've been doing it. So, he has to get up so that they can be strong again. It's kind of intense in that way. But I think all things considered, it does its job well. I was enjoying it, even despite the real kind of bleakness of everything and the intensity. I would kind of say this would be around a 3.5 for me. It's good. It was not my favorite. I wasn't in love with it. But I definitely think if you're into this style of movie and if you're looking for something to watch that's going to make you think a little bit and also just kind of maybe put you in your place a little bit, I think it does a pretty good job of that. So nothing off the charts for me, but I did enjoy it, and I actually enjoyed it more than I expected.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with this one, and if you look at some other kind of World War II recreations, something like Band of Brothers, which is not a movie, but probably the best depiction we've ever seen on any kind of screen of World War II. Saving Private Ryan, right in there. The scope of this one is very small. I'm not going to compare it to, a Richard Linklater, Everybody Wants Some, or Dazed and Confused, but I feel like it's very much, to some extent, like plotless to a degree. It's almost just like an experience. You're here for the last few days of war and you're following this one guy as he comes into it, but there's not like a real big, maybe story being told. It's not grandiose.
Is it over a single day? It almost seems like it.
I mean, probably not a single day, but it's no longer than a week.
Yeah, no.
So I think that's the part of it. And like you're coming in at the very end, and I think one thing that this movie does really, really well is it makes you question how you would be behaving in these situations, being thrown into this as someone who is just a fucking typist. You know, like how did he get this job? That's one of maybe my cons. It's like, would they really have thrown this cat right into a tank as the war is about to be won? You know, it is a liability, you know, and that's why these guys give him so much grief to begin.
That's another intense thing, too. And I kind of expected at the end of the movie, I actually expected it to be the case because you heard the radio. I thought on the radio you were going to hear, oh, America, you know, basically victory is declared. And then you get this whole big rush of like, man, those dudes all just died for nothing. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's not the case, but I mean, that's kind of an intense thing, right? It's like right at the very end, right at the bitter end after years of fighting. What did they do? They went from Africa to, I'm forgetting everywhere that they ended up from what they were saying.
Like Belgium to Switzerland, now I'm killing Germans in German. Whatever.
Yeah, and it's like make it to the very end and
the war will end
your numbers
and
called.
soon. But before then, a lot more people got to die. So I'll send it over to your way, Mikey. Let's get some of your thoughts here.
Absolutely, guys. You know, as I said, you know, this is a movie that does not sugarcoat the atrocities of war. You know, that's one of the things Griffin's talking about. You know, when you say, "Oh, I really like this," this is a movie that gets you to think. This is a movie that, you know, Austin, you nice point about you're in a sardine can. And you're with, you know, 4 other guys and you've got to live. And just think about how awful that would be to be in there. You know, you're going, you know, we talked about you're going to the bathroom in there. You're stuck in this little sardine. It's like being in the tiniest dorm you could be in with 4 other guys. Just think about how awful. Plus, on top of that, instead of a dorm room, you're being shot at, you know, every day. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think, again, the casting is phenomenal. Logan Lerman, I mean, that first shot of him, he looks like a little boy. I thought that was so well done. He had this little baby face, and you're like, oh, my God. You know, they're sending a boy to war, you know, and he's talking about he was a typist. I just, as you all are saying, what the hell did that dude do? He must have really pissed somebody off to be sent out there to do that. And he put those men's lives, you know, at risk. And, you know, our boy War Daddy, he corrects that quickly. So,
he didn't even put him at risk. He got one guy killed because he didn't fire on that dude in the brush. One guy got the one. I guess he had to kill himself. Had
scorched
to
earth.
Talk about an intense scene.
Oh gosh, that was awful.
What about that?
I think a lot of this, guys, it's the psychological. You know, you're almost in the head of the soldier. You're in the head of this tank battalion. You know, it's very well done. Austin, I rated this a 4. You know, if you twist my arm a little bit, I'd go 4.5. I really like it. I mean, this is not one that, again, it's not a movie that I could watch over and over and over. And I think that's, to your point, Austin, you say, hey, you know, this just hadn't been one that everybody wants to watch, this war movie. It's too real, Austin. It's so real that you go, man, it's really good, but man, I don't want to watch that again. It's just hard to watch. I think I haven't seen this movie in that's a good word. I haven't seen this movie in probably 3 or 4 years. And I really enjoed it.
Yeah.
For the aspect of just you're in those.
We don't love war. No,
I don't want to walk away with anybody thinking that.
No.
And the line that I like, you know, and it's my boy, and I'm going to call him Bible. Yep. He tells Norman, wait till you see what a man can do to another man. And I mean, that's right at the beginning. And when he says that, you go,
that was one of the lines that I was almost like, God, is this Tropic Thunder? You know,
Austin, I had down. I'm going to read this to you all what I wrote.
That's funny.
We see what it feels like to put your life in another man's hand. I was like, if I say that, Griffin's going to, he's going to start quoting Sergeant Four-Leaf Tayback. But
Tayback.
Yeah,
I wrote the book.
That's exactly what it felt like.
It really did.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess some of my things here that I did like, obviously just the brutal, realistic depiction of war and just its emotional toll that it takes on all these guys. The apathy that you almost have to carry. Don't get close to anyone because they're probably dead tomorrow kind of thing. That whole kind of perspective. The new cat coming in town. You got the hardened vets that have been there, and now you're on their team and they're relying on you. So obviously there's going to be some friction involved with that. The crew, the camaraderie is great. The home, the tank, the line, the best job I ever had. I thought that was really, really good. There was a review that I had saw in doing some research here where this guy, let's give him his name, Kenneth Turin for the Los Angeles Times, praised the film highly, writing, "The best job I ever had sentence is one of the catchphrases the men in this killing machine use with each other. And the ghastly thing is they half believe it. It's true, which is kind of an interesting bit to it. But it's like almost like what you have to do. You have to find some sort of comedy in the horror to even survive it all. You have to be very black and white to make it through this entire thing. Some of the other things, I think just like Brad Pitt is awesome. Maybe it's not his Inglourious Bastards World War II character, but this is a really good one up there with it. Old War Daddy. And also like another really great bit is like just the sound effects and visual effects. When you're seeing those tank shots skip off shit and fly by, just the speed at which they're coming at you. I mean, you see a guy get his whole fucking self taken out of the top of a tank by one of those things, and he's just smithereens after that. So that stuff was really good. It was brutal. It was terrifying, Things that I would say are like maybe negatives or hold it back is just the idea of Norm being thrown into that. I can't believe they would ever have done that. I already mentioned that a little bit. Zero experience on the brink of, victory. Would you really have done that? Probably not. I mentioned that it's, maybe somewhat plotless, maybe just showing like a moment in time. You don't get a lot of backstory on these characters. They're just there. So you're experiencing them. So they're kind of caricatures in a way. So coming back to that, like everybody wants some kind of thing. You don't have the time to really delve into the deeper qualities of these characters, but it hints at them. One thing it kind of gets at is just the anxiety that War Daddy is having as well. He comes back to camp and he's having a full-on panic attack. He looks up and he sees all those prisoner of war just kind of like looking at him. I thought that was a pretty effective scene. Just, even this guy who seems so held together in this is obviously still troubled by it in a great way.
And that was a good scene.
Yeah,
sure.
No doubt. And then getting back once again to Point Break, somewhat perplexing of an ending. I don't feel like any of them had to die there. But at the same time, maybe you can have your peace in that, the tank was home and they weren't going to run away. This was a principle thing. And there is the possibility that battalion, they don't do what they do. Maybe many more people are dead because, shit, their KD ratio was pretty fucking high there. It was
that's probably what it was. Is Brad Pitt, Don was probably like, hey, we have the potential to kill a lot of these guys, and I'm going to do it, whatever that looks like. And like you said, ultimately, it's a pretty powerful shot at the very end when you're raising above everything.
Yeah.
Just and you see all of those dead bodies littered. Exactly.
Yeah. So my rating here, I give it a 4 out of 5 as well. It's not one that it doesn't stretch into the 90 range, but it's every bit of an 85 to 89 for me. And that puts it at a 4 in my world. So really strong film. Do really enjoy it, but it is a rough watch in ways, no doubt as well. So yeah, guys, let's we'll move on into our next portion here. Hit it with the favorite scenes, and once again, I'll send it your way first here, Griff.
Oh, great. Well, let's just get it out of the way. The ending sequence, the final stand. What an awesome scene. if you could call that a scene. I mean, I thought that was pretty phenomenal. I enjoyed getting to see all of those dudes, literally a well-oiled machine in the way that they were just operating and making everything happen. What is the thing that Bible says every time he's about to fire out one of the shots? What's he say?
I don't know if I ever caught his line.
You didn't notice that? What would he say? He'd say something like, fire, like ready to go or something. I don't know what he would say, but before he was able to just shoot those damn, I guess, cannonballs out, I mean, he would say something, but it was cool. I just liked watching how everyone was operating. Even Norman, he's shooting those machine guns, and he'd go, I need more or whatever. I'm out. And I don't know. I just enjoyed that. And obviously, you get to,
for sure.
Yeah, well, you get to see him just mow it down. And I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool just seeing all these men in it together for this final stand. And I mean, I'll even kind of add this as one of my favorite scenes. Them actually, before they get into the battle, when they're all just sitting inside the tank and talking.
I thought that was great. Where they start drinking together and they let
Yes.
out the line again. Best job I ever had.
Everyone's just
Norm gets
chatting.
his nickname, the Machine.
Yeah.
The machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
We're not fucking leaving.
That was a great scene. I mean, just getting to see everybody be a little bit more vulnerable and saying, all right, this is really it. I think they knew. I think War Daddy knew at a minimum. And pretty cool that everyone ended up joining too, because, they were ready to tuck tail and run until War Daddy was like, I'm staying.
And you see that internal battle that they all have as well. It's like, what are you doing? And they're like, they start like crying because they know what it means to stay behind.
Yeah.
Like this is
This
is your last mission. You're not coming out of this one. It's like Bodhi going after that last big wave. You're not coming back from this. This is your last stand here for sure. And I think they do a really good job of giving everyone at least a memorable death in that sequence.
Yeah.
Gordy takes a fucking anti-tank or not Gordy, but I was going to say, when did they call him Coon Daddy?
Grady.
Yeah, Grady.
Coon ass.
Coon ass.
I kept calling him ass hat. So,
But he takes
Gordo.
a Panzer through the gut. Gordo swallows a grenade sacrifice in that right there.
God.
Boyd Bible takes a shot straight to the fucking eye.
Yeah, his was the least dignified, right? He just pops up, capped.
Takes him
And
down.
I mean, that's another great aspect of this movie. Like you said, it's unflinching. It's brutal. They don't hide a damn thing from you. I mean, even when Kunass does take that right through his whole body and Bible's on him, like, oh my God. And, Don's just like, dude,
we're still in this
going.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you better keep going. Like, the dude's dead. It's like, sorry, he's dead. There's nothing we can do now. And it's just heavy as can be. But, my last favorite scene, I'm going to take this one too, when they actually go up into that loft with the German ladies. Just looking for a moment of normalcy and just trying to feel like a human again.
Yeah.
I thought that was really something, all the way to Kunass licking the eggs and trying to be like, hey, dude, this is not what you think it is, even if you're trying to make it that way.
The dichotomy of that scene, that scene is really well done, and it's obviously one of my favorites as well. It is just almost a perfect scene because I really love the way that, War Daddy is taking Norm underneath his wing there in a way and kind of giving him that reprieve because he knows that this is a rough fucking transition, right? So he takes him up there and tries to give him some bit of normalcy there. There you go. He never knows just to press the button instead of just
what's he
to
doing?
silence it. He has to mute himself. But obviously, like within that as well, like the two girls, they're great. Emma, Irma, really good. And you gotta, obviously you think about that kind of situation. Like I love the line. It's like they're young and they're alive. Don't go in there. Let them do this, kind of thing. What he says to her. And then, of course, when the other guys show up, and I don't think they're that out of line to be behaving that way either, even though it is really uncomfortable the way they break up that whole tea party that they're having. But even Gordy says at the end, he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm drunk." The horse story in that, with like them having to shoot and kill horses, and them talking about the smell. Bible's over there; it's got a tear going down his face because they're mad. They're like, "Damn, dude, we've been with you all this while, and you didn't invite us to this." So I get it, even though like I hate Travis in that, or Coon-ass in it. He's terrible. Grady Coon-ass.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Yeah. Asshat.
He is such an asshat in it.
Asshat.
But then right after that, of course, it gets shelled. Their building gets shelled, and she's dead just like that. Yeah. And that's just the corrupting descent portion of Norm's story, where the next time he's out there, he's saying, "Fuck you, Nazis,"
He's just like capping asses, man, and loving every second of it. It's like, oh my gosh, it really is a quick transition, but kind of eat or be eaten, right?
Yeah, right. And Travis
kill or be killed.
I thought there was a good bit with Travis there too, where he's like grabbing him. He's like, "What are you gonna do? Raise it from the dead? You feel that? That's war, And it's like, fuck, man. It's horrible. It's horrific. It's terrible. It's just the way that shit went, real bad.
Yeah. What do you think of the moment when Coon-ass takes him? They're scoping out that little building, and he says, "Hey, man, just so you know, I think you're a good guy. I don't know if you really fit in here." That was kind of a cool moment too.
Maybe we're not good guys, but you are. Yeah, I thought that was good. That was some sort of redeeming quality to that cat, because he was a prickly fucking pear,
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Well, Pops, what scenes you got? You got anything else?
Well, Griffin, since you took about 6,
I was about to say, seven. I've been getting lucky every week. I get to do the scenes first. I'm like, all right,
Lord.
Yeah, maybe we'll switch it up.
Yeah, Austin, I think we need to. The little ass takes everything. Hey, maybe he's an ass hat.
Hey, well, maybe you didn't even watch the movie, so you just can't pick a scene.
Maybe he's going to get another phone call in the middle of this.
I can't believe it. I've got it on Do Not Disturb, and even told her that we're doing this today. Still calls, guys. Here's the scene of the movie. The scene of the movie, and we've already talked about it a little bit, is when Norman comes on board, and they's like, "Hey, you might want to get in there and clean your spot out." And Norman, he gets a bucket. They say, "Get a bucket of hot water, and clean up your seat." And he gets in there and he sees where a man has just been killed. He looks over, how would you like that? Hey, day one, you go, "Hey, here's your spot." Austin, day one, you go in Monday and here's your seat. You walk in and there's a face on the floor that has been blown completely off. We see Norman jump out of the tank. He's throwing up. I mean, any normal human being would do that. The reality of war, day one, he gets a real good idea of what war is going to be. Mm-hmm. I thought, and I made a note, that is acting. Just the look on that young man's face of pure horror, and to see, War Daddy's just his look. He's looking at him like,
Is he Percy Jackson?
He's Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I never watched those.
He's a really good actor.
I love him in Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's my favorite movie of his for sure. We'll get that one on here.
He's real good. But this thing, I thought War Daddy just shows the emotion of rookie, and if he thinks that's bad, wait till he gets into what we're getting ready to do.
Well, you can tell that War Daddy's not doing it in this nasty,
War Daddy
way. It's like, dude, you got to get it together.
Exactly.
Man.
My job is to get every one of these guys in here with me home, and you are a liability.
He was. That leads me into my second scene, and Austin, I'll let you take over after this. Mm-hmm. But I like the scene where War Daddy grabs him and says, "You're going to shoot this.
If you can't kill Crouch, you're no good to me."
Exactly. And he takes him over and he's got the gun and he's trying to, wrestle his hand so he'll shoot. And finally he does, he's like, "I give up, I surrender all and I just was like,
kill me.
Yeah, kill me." Yeah. And War Daddy, Brad Pitt, I thought, I mean, you could just tell what I mean, this guy's a leader. This man was a leader, and he put this young man through this. He did it. And then, like you all pointed out later on, we see him, I'll kill them all. You know, and I mean,
good shooting, kid.
Yeah. It was,
you should have let him burn.
That was brutal. And all the guys knew that. What was kind of cool was none of them were shooting. And then our boy Norman just fires away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Austin, the rest is yours. What's left?
Yeah, so my two favorite are definitely the final scene, the last stand. So we've already touched on that. One question I have with that, and I guess I'll bring it back to the group here real quick. You know, why did that SS soldier show him mercy? What was that? What was the meaning in that?
I think that was movie magic.
Yeah.
Austin, I said the same thing because I didn't understand it. I was very confused as to why he did that. I mean, these men killed all of his buddies. I mean, they were just stacking them up like sandbags. And here we have that. And I did not understand that.
Maybe he was just a good guy like Norm, you know, because, you know, what you're introduced to in kind of the pre-credits where they're showing what's going on. It's like the Germans were putting out kids, women into this fight at the end. They were throwing everything they had left. I don't think that a kid would be in the SS like that necessarily because that's supposed to be their, you know, top line guys.
Right.
Yeah, he did show him mercy. And another kind of qualm that I have with the ending there is War Daddy's death. You know, you think 2 grenades right next to him, he would have been looking that pretty still.
I thought the same thing. I was like, man,
he would have.
I don't know why they had him go.
Hey, guys, come on, get real. It's
movie
Brad
magic. It's
Brad Pitt.
He's the infallible face. You
like literally, there was nothing. Yeah, nothing was wrong with him at all. It was like,
guys, even when he dies, he's a good-looking man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
accept it. It's just, you know.
Can't keep a good man down
in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Accept it.
But a couple of small scenes that we haven't necessarily talked about is when they are riding out, you know, when War Daddy has the line of like, oh, make sure there's no wolf hiding in those sheep kind of thing. And they have the whole, she'll let you fuck her for a chocolate bar. And you see some of the boys kind of bullshitting around, of course, kind of building that camaraderie up there. But that tank buster that comes in, that new kid that we just met, what the hell's his name? Lieutenant Parker. He's in Twilight, in one of the Twilights, that cat. And he's a new cat. He gets busted, his balls get busted he's like, oh, do you shave? Because he's such a new cat on the block, and the next thing you know, he's getting set on fire and he's shooting himself in the head because he's done. So that was a real rude welcoming for Norm because there was a shot that he didn't take, you know, just one of the examples of him not doing his job. And like, that's on you. You did that because you didn't pull the trigger. That's what happens. This is war, dude. Like, so he was a kid. I don't give a fuck. This is what kids do in the war. So that was real rough. War Daddy making his point with Norm for sure. I thought a line before that was really good because he freaks out. He's like, I can't fucking do this. And he goes, turn your intercom off if you're going to blow like that. Just kind of one of those funny quotes within it. And then I think the tiger fight is the best tank kind of scene battle they have.
I mean, guys, the Germans had their tanks were far superior to ours.
Well, they even had that little written message at the beginning of the movie to make sure you knew that, which was interesting.
It was just far superior, and it was 4v1, and it comes down to 1v1, and the guys get lucky, and, you know, hey, God didn't call us today, is what the Bible says, you know?
That wasn't, I actually think that scene, I should have mentioned that, I actually think that scene was better than the ending scene, just because there was so much intensity, because they actually had a chance of winning it, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what's going on?
Yeah, well, you see Sergeant Peterson get, like I said, blown to smithereens by that one shot, direct hit straight to him.
Yes,
it's brutal, man. And they were outgunned, but they had to use their tactileness and kind of the driving of old Gordo to line up the shot perfectly, and they had to hit him twice to even put it down from point blank. So really good. And after that, they have the whole best job I ever had. Norm finally gives in that scene too. And hell, he gets it out himself. He says it. So I thought that was a really, really good scene. But the big ones, the heavy hitters, love the final stand and love the whole Emma plot line kind of break. And then the brutal turn that takes. That is the descent and the corrupting nature of war, where, hey, you just had something that felt like a love that may last. Hell, he wanted to pin her later. She's dead 5 minutes later, you know?
Was that pin with a P-I-N or P-E-N, Austin?
P-E-N, as in write letters, right? Is that correct?
Oh, I thought he was trying to pin her later, P-I-N.
Well, he'd already done that, right? He'd already done that.
My dad didn't even get it. Look at him.
Oh, he got it. Shut up, you two idiots.
She kind of fucking Gordo after Jesus. Him and fucking coon ass took that one. Go. She kind of looks like a whore, but those drunk assholes. You gotta imagine they're horny as hell, sitting around in this tank.
Drunken buffoons.
Drunken buffoons. Well, let's move on to our next thing here, guys. Our character categories. And we'll send it Mike's way so Griff can't steal them.
Yeah. So, he would steal everything. Guys, my favorite character of the movie, I mean, take a guess. Who's it going to be, guys? It's going to be Brad. It's going to be Brad Pitt, War Daddy. I love him. I mean, it was cool when they scanned in on him at the beginning of the movie. We see the scars on the face. And I mean, even Brad Pitt makes scars look.
Well, we see his back too in that one scene.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we see the burns on his back. We find out that he really does have a heart. He's got, thick skin in front of his team. SS, we kill every last one of them. War's not going anywhere, Sir War Daddy to Norman. When he gets out of the tank.
That was the Lieutenant Parker, because he's like, oh, get on out of here, or over and out, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Move out.
There was some lot of the tough love, when he has that German soldier and he makes Norman shoot him. That was really tough to see. Again, I thought Norman could be one of my favorite characters, but I just thought Brad Pitt was just so dynamic. I just loved him in it. We see Norman screaming to him, kill me. And War Daddy, he just keeps his cool and doesn't do anything crazy. Ideals are peaceful. History is violent, it's my, and then he says what the scene that it was emotional to me. He said, this is my home to the team when he was inside the tank. And I knew once he said that, I went, he's gonna bite it. And if you're gonna bite it, you want to go out with your boots on. And Brad Pitt, War Daddy, he went out with his boots on. I thought that was,
they'll kill you real bad. That was another Tropic Thunder line. They'll kill you real bad.
Yeah, it kind of was. Guys, my sixth man of the movie, guys, I mean, there's not really that many of them. I mean, you could go, couple of,
there's some good picks.
Well,
Lucius Malfoy, maybe?
Austin.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Austin, I went with Captain. I went with Mr. Malfoy is who I went with.
There we go.
There
you go. Words out of his mouth.
I like the way I like the way he was kind of rough, and he did all of that. I kind of like the growling he did.
Jason Isaacs, yep.
Lieutenant,
what was he? Captain Wagner.
Yes. So he's definitely my sixth man. My sad sack of the movie, guys, I'm going to go with two. I'm going to steal these from you all.
We're going to have to get one, though, for the graphics, so make sure you...
All right. Well, the grandpa, when they're asking, hey, are there any German soldiers? Yes.
Yeah, that's
and
a sack.
He takes one right to the friggin' head, and it's like... Again, if you didn't know this was war, you do now.
God dang.
And I mean, I think and I'm sure you guys are going to say this, but the saddest sack of that movie is who, guys?
Lieutenant Parker.
Is it Peterson? Was that his name that got his head?
Well, Peterson too. Peterson's right there.
Peterson got his head blown completely off his shoulders. I mean, it was
There's no shoulders left either, Mike.
Not pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't pretty.
I'm laughing.
Just the speed. That's what I mean. Like the special effects and the visual effects in this are awesome, but they're terrifying.
There was tracers on every bullet, every shell that's going out, so you can see it. So I mean, that's not the norm, guys, where you can see a tracer go out. Because I've shot some rifles with tracers. So
I don't think you've shot a tank before, though.
No, I've never shot a tank, but I've shot at refrigerators but never a tank, guys.
Going back on a good line with Lucius Malfoy. Sorry to cut you there, Mike. But was the War Daddy asked him, why won't they just quit? No, he asks War Daddy, why won't they just quit? And War Daddy goes like, would you? Kind of thing. I thought that was a good line in there.
Again, it just shows War Daddy some people, there's a movie called Heartbreak Ridge, and they say, there's a scene where Clint Eastwood, and they said, we ought to put you in a glass cage and say break only when war's necessary. And he was one of those kind of cats where he lived for war. I mean, you could tell this man was a perfect soldier.
Well, it's funny you bring up Clint Eastwood because Scott, is that his son? Scott Eastwood.
That's it. That is his son.
Yep, Scott Eastwood is in this. He's also in Band of Brothers. This fucking guy.
I cannot
just press the side
this.
button and silence it.
Dad, you shouldn't have you should not have volume on your phone when it rings.
There you go. That's how you press it to the side, unless he's just hanging up on him.
doing?
That's all right. Griff, favorite characters, partner.
Best character of the movie's War Daddy, 110%. There's no doubt about it. It's Brad Pitt. He's a rock star. He's awesome. He does the whole machismo thing perfectly while still being a considerate, compassionate man. Really, hey, we hear you breathing, bruh. Really being nice to look at this idiot. He's still getting things. War Daddy's the best character in the movie. He rocks. I love the whole battalion. I think that they're really cool. That group in the tank. Mm-hmm. But War Daddy's the top dog. In terms of six man, I actually like that guy who first recovers Norman at the end of the movie and who also killed that one SS when they're walking out of the building when they got let out.
Yeah, who's
do y'all
the guy
remember
that's
that
been hanging
same
the
dude?
Kids? Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, is that the dude who's been hanging those kids? And
yeah.
That German guy goes, yeah. And he said, all right, kill him. So they go out and they pull him right out. And the guy said, I'm going to enjoy this or whatever.
Yeah, he wasted some bullets on him.
Yeah, he did. Capped his ass. I like that dude as a six man because he saves Norm at the end.
Well done, Griffin.
He gets him, and he also puts some caps in that dude. Yep, there it was. Sad sack of the movie. I think the sad sack is actually that German dude who Norman has to kill first. They find the guy. He's like, I'm a father. I'm a husband. And they're like, hey, get on your knees and wait for this guy to kill you. Yeah. And they make him just wait, begging for his life.
Griffin, that's a good point.
Literally, Norman doesn't want to shoot the guy. And War Daddy's like, no, you're going to kill him. And the guy just has to sit there and wait for it. And then gets capped. I mean, that dude's the sad sack of the movie. Parker's also a really good sad sack, Austin. I mean, the guy catches on fire and has to blow his own head off because he's on fire. And he's
like yells like "mama" or something while he's on fire. It's just like,
oh,
Jesus.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got his ass. He's my sack. So maybe I'll just start in reverse order here. Lieutenant Parker is my sack. He gets his balls busted for not being able to shave yet. They don't even move out on his command right away. They give him shit over that. And then next thing you know, the dude's torched. So, yeah, that's the sack, the old Twilight guy. But Sergeant Peterson's a great one. Norm's a sack, of course. We can't fail to mention how much of a sack that cat is as well.
Fair.
Even though he
picks it up at the end, though, yeah.
He does. But is that a good thing? Probably not.
Can you imagine? The question I have, imagine how you'd feel as Norman. He makes it out of the war alive. What do the next, let's just say hypothetically, 50, 60 years for that guy look like? What's that dude's experience?
He's probably writing Slaughterhouse-5 or something,
You think you have some imposter syndrome at that point? What do you think?
He did his part.
Yeah,
but
you think
he
you're
came
kind of
at
like,
the
oh
end.
my god, like how did that happen?
Yeah. Well, that's how it is, man. That there's always that guilt for the people who
Guys,
made it out.
Austin, you mentioned Band of Brothers, and when they interviewed the real men, and they were talking
exactly.
about
Good call.
they always point out that those men that died, those were the heroes, and why I'm still here. And I mean, one man, I started crying watching it. He said, I shouldn't be here. That man saved my life. He was, basically he was a better man than me. Why am I here? And it, a lot of that, to answer your question, Griffin, is you have so much guilt that you're there, that you're still here and they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably eats you alive, guys. So, I mean,
they always say, like, I did nothing special to still be here. I just got lucky. It's always comes down to just the luck thing because, I mean, that shit just fucking happens. I mean, look at Emma and Irma, casualties of war kind of thing.
Yeah.
My favorite character, War Daddy, Don Collier, Brad Pitt, really, really good. But I do really like the crew. If I had to pick a second in command from the crew, I really like Shia LaBeouf. I love Boyd Bible Swan.
Yes.
I thought his character was great. I mean, that crazy bastard pulled out a tooth for this role. That was not an effect that they put in. He really did that. So we know the troubles that cat's going through today, and you can tell that, just from that decision, this guy probably has a couple screws loose in that noggin.
He doesn't make the best of decisions.
Camp Green Lake really got to him. He's still living out the demons from there. Thinking
maybe he got bit by
lizards.
one of those yellow spotted lizards.
Yeah, they're in his nightmares at night for sure. My sixth man, or so we say, woman, is Emma. I really liked Emma. I thought she was a perfect kind of piece, and even though her character is not necessarily developed, but I think she meant everything to Norm's character in a lot of ways, right? And that was that, they found love. You're going to have one love in your life. And I believe that he found it there, and it was just immediately ripped away from him through the circumstances of where he's at. Them playing the piano together, I thought it was really good. When Grady goes over and licks her egg, the way she's crying right there, it made you want to cry for her, man. It was just so sad that, I don't know what involvement they had, but let's believe that they were innocent. This innocent little girl who's just caught up in the middle of this horrific time and event. So really loved her character. Already did my sack. So final things, guys, themes and things. Griffey.
War, apathy, tanks, guns. What else? Team, Bible.
Spirituality. That's something that they really kind of touch in a lot of ways, and maybe don't dig too far into it, but I think it is cool how War Daddy kind of recites scripture back to Boyd in the end. And it's like the first time he'd ever done it before, really, and he recognizes in the questions that Boyd has for him is like, are you saved? When Norm first shows up, do you believe, are you a God-fearing man, or whatever the hell he's asking him? That whole kind of conversation is really good. And I just didn't, that's why I think in a lot of ways I really like the Boyd Bible Swan character.
Yeah, no, he's great. And I mean, I think that's it for me.
All right, Mikey.
How about atrocities of war? I had Tank Battalion. War names, we see nice. War Daddy. Yep. We see Ass Hat. I thought those were perfect names for those guys. Tracer Bullets. I thought that really added a lot to the movie, where you could just see those whizzing right over their head, especially the tanks when they were just shooting the missiles. I mean, that was, wow. I thought those were great scenes. And again, I think the big one that we're kind of all shaking our head was Mercy, when the German soldier let Norman live. That was a tough one. And you all already said spirituality, that was huge in this movie.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Some of mine, and obviously they're just things we've touched on: war, World War II as just a whole thing, corrupting, hardening, cabin fever, in that tank, the game, the team, score, sound effects, new arrival
Nice.
to full-blown war, acclimating to the horrors. The last breath of war, I think, is a big piece of this movie as well. It's like this is the bitter end. The kids are out there to fucking fight for the Nazis.
Yeah.
How about coffee and cigarettes? Whole lot of cigarettes in this thing. Best job I ever had. Religion, God, spirituality, good versus evil, Krauts, and sacrifice is my last one I have here.
Sacrifice.
Good for you, Oz.
There we
Very
go.
nice.
And here
Very
we
nice.
come to the end.
Here we come.
Not the
There
end
it
of the
is,
war, but the end of this episode, where we have one final question to answer. And maybe it will be a war trying to figure out this answer, but probably not. I think we got a good idea of who this might just be.
Absolutely.
But I will ask, nonetheless, is Fury better with Nicolas Cage?
Hey, there he
That
is.
is great, Austin.
Woo!
Well
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they would have made it all out alive if it was 4 Nicolas Cages. in
Yeah, a
that.
bunch of Nick Cages.
There is no doubt. Griff, do you have this one?
Oh, I got this one.
All right.
So here's the deal. This movie is better with Nick Cage, and Nick Cage takes Coon-ass's role. That's who Nick Cage is. He's going to be a little bit annoying, but he's unhinged in a way that you're going to like him. Even when he's licking that egg, you're going to be saying, you know what, I wish Nick Cage would lick an egg that I could eat. How about that? I think that Nick Cage would do that. I think he would be that guy because, you know, Nick Cage could kind of do the annoying stuff. You could get him talking like he's from the bayou a little bit.
Arkansas.
Too. Yeah, he could be Arkansas. You get Nick Cage doing that, I think it'd be a little bit more comedic.
Donkey.
And he'd bring a lot of personality to it. I think when that, what did you call that big like projectile that hit him, Austin? What was that called?
It was like the Panzer.
Yeah, that Panzer would have bounced off Nick Cage's ass. So I mean, they
those
needed
abs
Nick
are
Cage in
rock.
there.
Rock
That's what I'm
hard,
talking
baby.
about.
Steel.
What
Griff,
about you, Pops?
Griff,
Bounced right back and hit that fellow in the face who shot it.
So I'm talking
Griffin,
about.
I really think you missed the boat. I really do.
Okay.
I think he is Boyd Bible. I think
really?
he and let me just
That's interesting. Okay.
I'm
Sell
telling
me.
you, the whole movie, I kept going, who could Nick Cage be? I mean, let's face it. Brad Pitt he solidifies. There's no one that's
Mike's
going to.
let's face it moment.
No one is taking Brad Pitt's spot. No one is taking Brad Pitt's spot.
No.
But Bible Boyd, I mean, think about this, guys. I'm just going to say one name, and you all go, oh, that's why. Could you imagine him quoting those scriptures like Pastor Troy? I mean, it would be off the, it would be off the charts, man.
Is he going to break out into dance too? Like he always liked to say?
He may. I mean,
And then it was a dance off.
I just think that would have been a perfect role for him. He would have been great in it. Just quoting those scriptures like Castor Troy. I think he would have brought a little more to that character. Although our guy, he did a nice job.
Stanley Yelnats. Yep.
Yeah. Stanley Yelnats. But I think that, we all know you put Nick Cage in that and this, we got something there.
We got
Austin.
something.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what you got, Austin. Can you beat that?
I got Grady Coon-ass, Travis, for sure. He's despicable. The thing is, and like you said, Griffin, you might just like him too much if he's that character. He needs a little.
That's
Needs to be a little more disliked.
Yeah, he's I was really upset with him because with the scene with Norman and Emma. I mean, was so. You felt so good about there's all this horror around and you see this beautiful girl and you see Norman and you could tell Norman was sprung and Brad Pitt's character was doing everything he could, he knows that, hey,
it was a very civilized interaction until they showed up.
Yes. And it just went off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
It went off the rails for me.
Which is why, that scene is just really, really damn good. But yeah, he's Grady. He's that asshat. He's bouncing off the walls, and he does have that likable edge to him.
Austin, our listeners are going to go, no way. They want him to be Bible. I'm telling you, man. Castor Troy, he would just, I mean, every time I just keep thinking of Castor Troy in his priest outfit, walking around, and it would be great.
I'm trying to think who else he even could have been. Could he have been someone not in the crew, or would that probably just been too small?
Well, it would have been too small of a role for him. I mean, he could have been the captain, and he could have been crazy. And I thought one of the biggest waste of a character was Scott Eastwood, Sergeant Miles. I mean, he's not even in the movie much at all.
Well, I think they did Lucius Malfoy a little raw too. I feel like some of those side characters, they definitely weren't the focus by any means, but I think that's maybe where this movie does falter in some ways. That outside of just our gang and being in that tank, you're not super invested with too much of what else is going on with other people by any means, or like the whole story per se. But I think, like I said, the focal point of this movie is just the tank in this crew and these guys, their interacting, their camaraderie within it. And I think that's where it really, really does excel.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, guys, we don't have any movie picked up next, but we will have one coming the following Sunday. We'll figure it out. We'll get our May calendar all squared away. I think I have an idea what I want, but I'm not the next person up. So I think it's your pick next, Mike. So we'll see what you got in mind, and we'll get around to it. We'll keep that one a secret for now. But other than that, guys, I'll let you say your goodbyes, and we'll move on and move out.
Hey, Jack, thank you for making a suggestion here. This was a good one. I enjoyed it. Appreciate you, boys. I think my saying, Purple Podcast all the way to the top every single week. We're dishing these babies out. We hope you guys keep on listening and keep on loving them like we do. So that's all it is, boys.
Yep.
Absolutely. Again, thanks, Jack. We appreciate the suggestion. Guys, I was in Florida last week, and one of the guys overheard me talking about, meeting you guys for a podcast. And the guy comes up, and super, super nice young man. And he says to me, hey, you all need to use Shawshank Redemption. And I said, we already have. And I pointed him to where to go. But I was hoping, I told him to give us some feedback. So you guys might get that from him. Looking forward. I'm sure he agrees with me about this character because I know he's seen Fury.
Yep. Well, in that same vein, shout out Pat, who's been kind of responding to some stories of ours on the Instagram channel, having some dialogue between movies. He's actually not the biggest fan of Fury. Said he had watched some more movies more recently, namely All Quiet on the Western Front, which is even more down and dirty, gritty. It's World War I, so it's like
really
mustard gas stuff and just like, I don't know. It was just
horrible.
Something about it seems dirty. World War I was just nasty, and that's a hard watch. I don't know if that's one that's like almost like the Joker. If you ever watched the Joker, I've never gone back to that one. I've never gone back to the newer All Quiet on the Western Front. And I know there's an older one that I've seen pieces of, but haven't seen all. But anyways, appreciate the feedback there, Pat, as well. It's always fun to talk about movies with some other people. That's a lot of why we do this as well. We want to hear from you guys. We want to open up these conversations and that dialogue. So really do enjoy that stuff, even if you don't love the movies. That's part of the fun. You've heard us have some discrepancies here as well. So that's part of it. That's the nature of the beast, so we'll say. But guys, if you've listened all the way through, as always, thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. We're going to keep on rolling like we do. You know that. We'll be back here soon, next Sunday, and we'll be talking to you soon then. So other than that, guys, keep living well, keep doing your best. We'll see you soon, and bye-bye.